everyone, welcome back to the show here. Freak and Joedat, of course, ready to give you the next game. It's gonna be an awesome one. Curse versus Dignitas. It's two teams in the middle of the standings. There's a couple of fun playoff things up for grabs. Just to quickly introduce it.
Yeah.
Dignitas guaranteed into the playoffs.
Yes.
Curse, if they win here, also guaranteed a playoff spot.
Yeah, and even if none of that happens and neither of these teams clinch, if EG is to lose the final game, then both these teams will be in the playoffs anyway. But as we said, it's about getting above that 6th place spot.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to avoid CLG in that first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, both these teams right now 1 game above Coast right now. So it's kind of 6th place is the place these guys want to avoid.
They want it, but they also want better than that.
Well, of course, if they can. 4th and 5th, these guys are stuck there regardless. As long as they stay above 6th, right? If they stay above 6th, 4th and 5th, it means the guys are going to play each other no matter what. But the fun thing about that is Curse has so far just destroyed Dig throughout the season.
Yeah, 3-0 against Dignitas, and there's plenty of reasons for this, but one of the big reasons is Quas. His performance against Dig has been extraordinary. He does so much better against Cruiser and Dignitas than he does against the rest of the league. It is extraordinary. For some reason, he is just incredibly comfortable and at home, and he really lives up to his potential when he plays against this Dignitas team.
Yeah, well, of course, speaking of potential, you've got to talk about the new guy on Dignitas. Goldenglue showed up, went 1-1 so far with the team, had a great game on Zed, an okay game on Lux.
Yeah, Goldenglue, honestly, he had a good debut, but it wasn't extraordinary. He still needs to do a little bit more. I would say, because Dignitas has had all this turmoil and Scar leaving, Cruiser's still a fairly new addition. Goldenglue is even newer. Someone else has to step up. And personally, I look to Imaqtpie to try and make a big moment. He is the eldest member of Team Dignitas, if we're talking about how long he's been on the team. And he's had plenty of fantastic performances in the past. He is capable of taking over games, and I want to see him step up. Yeah, and they're going to have to do it right now, honestly. This is the matchup in front of them right there. Again, as a likely playoff opponent as well. And I mean, as we've seen so far, Curse has been Dignitas' kryptonite, and they're going to see what they can do to get themselves back up into the match.
We played Curse 2 weeks ago, and they beat us again. So they have a 3-0 lead in the head-to-head.
Curse always just has something that we're weak to.
We've done extremely well against Dignitas this split. I think that that's actually the team we match up against the best, and especially with the roster change, I think that we're going to come out strong in Super Week.
Goldenglue, I think he was a pretty good addition to Dignitas. I think he can bring something very good to Dignitas as like a roamer. So he can get QD fed. He can just make plays with Crumbzz.
I've played against him and saw him playing the Challenger scene a decent amount. And he was actually playing champions that I was playing a lot of. It was nice to see maybe he was drawing a little inspiration or something. I think he can definitely grow to be a competitive mid laner, and we'll see how he closes out the season.
You asked me a question there that the team asks ourselves every day. What does it take to be a Curse?
Hopefully they answer that question very soon, because they're on the stage right now. Hopefully they can answer the question.
I was so ready for you to make some kind of pun, and it didn't happen.
It was just a story based on what we just saw.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to ad-lib out of videos, chat. Doesn't have to be funny. I'm more than that, okay? I'm a strong human being, more than just a sense of humor. Of course, guys, we're going to get into the game. Let's check out these starting lineups, of course. On the blue side, it is Dignitas. They've got Cruiser up in the top lane, Crumbzz in the jungle, Goldenglue in mid, Imaqtpie and AD carry, and KiWiKiD at support.
Yeah, and in the top lane, who does amazing against Dignitas for Curse, it is Quas. Jungle is IWillDominate, Voyboy in the mid lane, Cop on AD carry, and Bunny FuFuu on support.
I know we've been talking about the big Thresh players, but Bunny FuFuu, I think he has the biggest delta between Thresh and the rest of his supports. And I mean, he's a great player regardless, but I think his Thresh is just heads and shoulders above. And I knew that coming in when he first joined the lineup. In the first 3 or 4 games with Curse, they put him on Leona, they put him on these champions that weren't Thresh, even though it was available. And when he's been on that, you've just seen the level of play he has.
I'm really surprised that people still let Bunny FuFuu play Thresh. I understand that there are a lot of priority bans here, especially on the 4.4 patch. But you look at that guy play Thresh, and he just makes plays on top of plays, and it is devastating for the enemy team. First ban's Thresh. Here we go.
Yeah. All right. Spoiler alert, first ban is Thresh. 20% of the time. I would say against Curse it should be 100% of the time.
These are global ban stats.
Yeah, but, I mean, you just got to always go for it here in this case. Curse removing the Kha'Zix away from Crumbzz as well. And I got to say, as far as, I think, consistently performing members on Dignitas, I'd put Crumbzz up there as one of the guys you would drop bans to.
Consistency is key for Crumbzz. He's a guy who actually plays more junglers than many other people do, especially if you look at his solo queue profile. I've seen him succeed on Jungle Galio. He'll pick up a jungler in a couple of days. He's just an incredibly versatile player.
see what else he can bring with this one. The Lulu removed away from Voyboy, Goldenglue, right? Not his type of champion. And I gotta think, right? Zed was what he played the very first time, had a good performance there, got banned away the very next time by Cloud9, and he went to Lux. And of course, his champion pool is still fairly untested.
Yeah.
Does he get to keep playing Zed?
Yeah. Or does he go in and break out Akali?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something he's done very good. Voyboy used to break out of a lot of Akali. It'd be a classic matchup against him. Voyboy played Yasuo in his game early today. Akali's good against Yasuo. All the reasons we could see Akali. But really, I feel like Super Weeks in particular are very momentum-based.
Yeah.
Since teams generally prepare for their own strategies because they don't have the time to necessarily worry about what every other team is going to be doing with the 4 matches on the week.
Yeah.
And since Curse had a very strong performance game 1 of the day just a few hours ago, I think they hold all the momentum here.
We'll see where they can go with this one. Lee Sin going to come up there for, I mean, I want to say top lane, it's Cruiser, but he hasn't been playing top Lee Sin at all throughout this split, even though it's one of his most known champions. Crumbzz like to play that one, of course.
Now's the time.
Right?
It's probably Crumbzz.
I mean, I've seen top Lee Sin work so well. I want everyone to play the champion, because I like it so much. I just want to see everyone else play it, just so I can learn from them.
Yeah. Well, Karma gets played a lot lately. KiWiKiD was the first person to pick Karma last week, or 2 weeks ago. And now it's been picked 2 games in a row here. And also picked high priority early on. It's because Curse actually was paying closer attention to what Dignitas has been doing. They noticed how strong KiWiKiD was with it, and they took it away right away.
It's also interesting to me because Curse they're not really stealing contested picks away, they're really picking for themselves. They're waiting to counterpick here, right? Lee Sin's already grabbed, but they go for the Elise. They know KiWiKiD loves Annie, they go for Karma here anyway. Dignitas putting their lineup together without much contest.
And Imaqtpie goes with Lucian once again. Not done well on Lucian, by and large, in the season, but he continues to go back for it. Strong laning champion. One of these days, that Ghost Blade build is going to carry them to a bunch of wins.
One of these days it will. We'll see if he can make it work this time around. Curse going to make their own choices on their side of the map. 30 seconds to go for their lock-ins. Cop just keeps hovering over different things. He'll go where he wants. Honestly, the Rise is available. Quas, I feel like a good proponent of that champion. I think Boy's just hovering over things he likes to play.
Do it. Well, they did one of them. That's the generic pick. But anyway, Quas had a really good Renekton game earlier. Actually brought out the teleport Renekton. And I would say the timing on his teleports are one of the big reasons they were able to come out on top over Coast. This is an incredibly mobile team that Curse has picked thus far.
Let's see what else to go with this one. Honestly, the teleport top lane also, just the summoner spell in itself has been a lot more common as well. These guys getting all around the map, making plays with their team, splitting up and fighting each other a lot. So the Renekton top lane, less kill pressure too is interesting because you normally see Ignite on the lane bullies who want to knock their opponents down. So even that like slightly nerfs what Renekton would normally do.
And now we get to see if Dignitas just goes generic with something like a Shyvana for Cruiser, or if they let him play Lee Sin into the Crocodile, and Dignitas goes all out.
We saw that from Coast, and it actually, in that matchup itself, went fine. You actually saw a minion lead go in. Ooh, they hover on the Vi, they hover on the Orianna. Yes!
Top lane Lee Sin.
Could be top lane Vi.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who don't know, since he's been around forever, Cruiser really got known in the competitive scene and amongst the top players because he played nothing but Lee Sin. Top lane Lee Sin most of the time, and he crushed people with it. And then as soon as he started joining teams, he stopped playing it. Like he'd get banned a lot, and when it was left, he just wouldn't play it. But now, after losing 3 games to Curse on the year, and Dignitas trying to come back for it, they give it to him again.
And I'm glad the teams are kind of going in and trying something new strategically when things aren't working out. I know we talked to EG a couple months ago, and they said, yeah, you know, having Inox play the standard tanky top lane, it wasn't working for us. We let him go back to the carries, and individually he's done well with that. I like the fact that Cruiser goes back to what he's most comfortable with. We saw Coast play standard Coast style as well earlier today, and I think that's the right play for teams like this who are having a rough time. See where they go with it.
I'm very intrigued by this Curse team composition as well, because in the first game, they were against a poke comp and were all about diving really deep with the Vi and the Yasuo and finishing off AD carries. And now they're completely different. They're the ones trying to do the disengage. Voyboy has to completely flip his mind as far as the types of champions and types of style he's going to be playing. He's all out, almost not in whatsoever. And it's going to be, I think that's a difficult adjustment to make in such a short period of time. But Curse is 3-0 against Dignitas this year.
Yeah, well, Curse is 3-0, but you know, you guys online voted, and despite the results, 60% of you think it's actually Dignitas with the lead in this matchup. So
yeah,
history may not repeat itself. The guys in black and yellow right here, hoping to look good. And you know, to keep talking about Goldenglue, now his third different champion in 3 games. Zed was available, went for Orianna here.
Yeah, one of the big reasons Dignitas cited for wanting him over Scar for the end of this LCS season was he had a more diverse champion pool than Scar.
Yeah.
So 3 for 3. The Lux was one of those strange picks. He had very good Lux mid-game, bad early game. And this Orianna now has the potential to at least bully out Voyboy's Nidalee early on.
Yeah.
Nidalee doesn't become that strong in lane until level 6, and I want to see Goldenglue's laning mechanics in this match.
Yeah, I want to see how he does. Honestly, it's a matchup where I actually am thinking back to the Challenger Series 2 finals we had just last week here when we had LMQ versus Cloud9 Tempest, and it was actually the fact that 2-on-1 lanes prevented any jungle intervention, and Orianna crushed Nidalee in the lane by just having the push advantage. I don't know if it's a thing that Dignitas will look for here, but you never know.
This matchup can actually go both ways. It's a very skill-intensive matchup. As a lot of things are against Nidalee, it's the ability for the Nidalee to land spears or the opponent to be able to dodge them.
Well, we'll see what these guys do with their skill shots here as we move ourselves on into the match. Doran's ring for both mid laners, so the mana is there if they want it. We'll see if there's any plans. No ward openings on either side here. Both supports going for gold generation with the Spell Thief's Edge. I feel like Karma's a little bit better at stacking that, though, and getting the gold income in. I'll track that for you guys throughout the game. See who does a better job of this
he does have incredibly long auto attack range.
Did that get hit in 4.4 or 4.5? I want to say 4.4. I think this is the lower auto attack range, Annie. Of course, we can check. Just press C.
625.
Still 625.
Long auto attack range.
Okay, I'm just wrong on that.
On Annie.
There you go. All right.
Super long secret patch notes, freak.
Apparently that one never actually went through or something. Okay, well, that makes me silly. That one got pulled.
Don't worry about it.
Shouldn't read ahead.
On the PBE.
Yeah. I was reading ahead. I'm just wrong. It's okay. I talked about Leona nerfs a while ago when they didn't hit yet as well.
Good work.
Yeah, I'm good at my job. Well, Curse looking at the top lane right here, though, with their whole team in this tri-brush. They did, in fact, get a ward down. In the one by the Baron Pit. Dignitas actually in the other location. Just doing the dance moves. Cruiser flipping around, being Elise in.
Eerily silent early on in this game. They're both going for delayed invades right here. Curse and Dig, if they continue on their current paths, are going to end up trading buffs. But will they actually know that they have traded the buffs? Because they haven't seen anything with wards.
That's true. Well, Cruiser just TPs at the top lane, says, you know what? Nothing happened bot lane. I'm just going to get my farm going right here, but he will be stuck. And it looks like a 1v2. Quas going to make a late rotation around. Crumbzz grabs his own red buff, and I'm wondering, I feel like Dignitas at this point knows, because the duo lane top, what the buff situation is.
Yeah, this will be an interesting lane swapping thing. How much is Cruiser going to get set back from Quas here? One thing to track when the top laners get denied like this is who can end up farming more as a top laner, because there will be a point in the game where they end up laning each other again. And one guy could be way ahead of the other if he's just been able to clean up more farm.
Well, KiWiKiD going to help up Crumbzz with this one, but we see that the Wraith camp did go over to Quas, and he's going to TP over to his own turret, and he's going to try to defend this blue buff take by Crumbzz. That's not going to work out. Smites it away. He's going to be fine. Not quite level 3 here on Vi, but with the white camp should be able to. You see the slow push right here from Imaqtpie, and I've seen this a couple times actually. All the XP goes to QtPie. KiWiKiD sits at level 1 and invades the jungle.
Yeah.
He's actually messing with Quas right now.
Yeah, Lucian scales very well with his skill levels, especially early on in the game. So, wonder how quickly these turrets are going to get pushed. This isn't one of the fast shoves. These lanes have actually been pushing as slow as possible. When the wave does hit the turret, they're going to try and burst it down with 3 of them. And it'll be an interesting question to see if Dignitas actually gets that turret down soon or not.
Well, we're going to see this one right here. Elise is, of course, there for IWillDominate. It's going to make that a little bit quicker for him. But Cop on Ezreal, a bit of a slower turret pusher. You're seeing Crumbzz, Imaqtpie, and KiWiKiD take this turret down pretty quickly. Quas on top of a ward. But he's not going to get too much of the gold or experience right here, just taking out a couple of the jungle camps on his way around the map. So the quick push lead does go to Dig. Cruiser at level 2. We'll see if he can get experience.
As it should, because that bottom lane turret has less defenses early on in the game. The question also, when all this happens, is the mid laners do not get ganked, and therefore they have no fear of ganks, and they really get to display their skill against each other and can play much more aggressive than they otherwise would. That's why Goldenglue is out of mana, pushed up, but has no fear.
None at all. He actually sees IWillDominate. He's sitting in a turret right here, being an Elise, being a jerk, as you would. And the wave clear still just coming through from Curse. Of course, both supports the Spell Thief's Edge, giving them plenty of money. Does affect turrets, makes you push faster, gives you more money. Curse, there we go, finds the tier 2 turret. Dignitas, honestly, much slower on this push right here, so they might get it on this wave, but still, it's worth pointing out. Curse on the sort of slower side of the map do make some good moves out of this one. Both teams trade their turret number 2, but Curse aren't done.
Yeah, the question always becomes, when will it end? Curse actually ganks Goldenglue.
No
on the
mana
return.
on Voyboy. He flashed away, but no other damage comes through from Voy. Just going to back out of this one. But yeah, good rotation by Dominate to find that.
Yeah, so now Dignitas trying to rotate through. There's a lot of unknown on the map because 2 turrets are down. Dominate, flash
the
stun!
flash stun lands the Vault Breaker as well. First blood for Crumbzz refreshes the buffs. Nice play, Dignitas.
If we remember all the way back to the start of the split, KiWiKiD really showed why he is a good support, because how much he could roam on Annie and land those clutch stuns during rotations. Dignitas trying to make the most of this early game.
Now the rest of Dignitas, though, forced to back half this one. They don't quite get the turret down, but hey, they did get the kill and some buffs over, so 600 gold now puts Dignitas in the lead, making the better of their early rotations. We're going to see Cruz continue to make their plays around this one. We're going to see that Cruiser is going to freeze on the left side of the map. The same for Quas here on the right. And they're going to get their farm eventually.
Yeah, so 2 turrets to 2 turrets. Obviously, Dignitas getting the edge basically off of that kill. So good rotations. They're keeping Goldenglue in the game, and we're tracking that top laner farm as well between Cruiser and Quas. It's very equal, and they're both actually somewhat freezing, not shoving it up as quickly as possible. So these teams actually playing incredibly similar styles instead of one team trying to fast push the other.
It's fun to watch the adaptations of teams over time, right? Like what people do once the turrets go down. I remember throughout Season 3, it was, okay, the fast push happens, the 3-on-1 lanes go down, sometimes the 2-on-2 with the defense and whatnot. But after the turrets went down, you saw, okay, the jungler rotates mid, looks for a gank, force Goldenglue's flash. Same thing for Dignitas, they actually get the kill onto Dominate, and then the teams kind of just started 4v4ing the mid lane for a short time. That's like the next thing that's happening for teams now.
Yeah, good evolution of these guys. Obviously, Dignitas trying to come up after losing 3 games to Curse as well. So 500 gold lead very early on here. Very even items on the mid laners. They're just trading for the most part, and honestly, as far as the mid lane isolation matchup goes, I would say that's to the advantage of Voyboy. He's been able to stick out with Orianna. I think Orianna has a much stronger early laning phase, and we'll see if Voyboy can start shoving up and making plays with the spears.
And we'll see when that all comes through. Chalice done for both these guys. Boots of speed as well. And a couple of wards spread across the map. You're seeing both teams putting a pink ward down across the river from each other. Crumbzz looking for a play. Top lane is level 5. 7 minutes in. KiWiKiD 3 is going to walk into IWillDominate. Gets Cocoon to the face. A lot of damage comes through. Vault Breaker. Nice repel.
Wow.
And he dodges a stun as well. Stun comes in from Quas. Will KiWiKiD go down? Yes, he will. The outplay from both members of Curse working nicely.
One of the big dangers of being level 3 roaming support 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the game is getting caught out like that. So interesting how both these supports are just roaming around sans AD carry. And now Goldenglue gets caught as well.
The flash Cocoon, no flash from Goldenglue, puts the shockwave down, but he's gonna die anyway. 2-1 now. Curse making plays.
Yeah, out-roamed right there. Dignitas had a little bit of ward control, but it is all for nothing at that point. Now they rotate down to the Dragon, knowing that Goldenglue is down.
They've got just complete control over it. See if they can make this one happen all the rest of the way. Of course, Crumbzz was forced to flash over the Baron Pit and walk back to base. A little bit of harass from KiWiKiD. I don't know if he's going to do too much more here. The rest of it actually dig are showing up for this one. Crumbzz, Cruiser TP's in, the smite comes in. Dominate gets it, but now Voy's got a flash over the wall. The jump in from Cruiser, can he land the Q? Keep the chase going, of course. Quas on the back line. KiWiKiD not in a good spot. Crumbzz also not where he wants to be. He's going to be going down. Blue buff goes over to Bunny FuFuu. More for Curse.
Wow. So even though that teleport looked good initially for Dignitas, the counter teleport there by Quas to come in and clean up inside the pit is really what ends up swinging that. Curse gets the Dragon and the advantage on the kill, so that's even better. Take another look at this one. Curse looks vulnerable because they're all very low around the Dragon pit, and Cruiser comes in first. So because they got the kill, it looked over at this point, but then that's a giant crocodile coming in, and not everyone on Dignitas can get out of the Dragon Pit. If Dignitas all would have stayed in the Dragon Pit, they may have been able to fight that one off, but because 2 went to chase Voyboy, they split themselves up, and Cruz was able to pick up the stragglers.
Yeah, very unfortunate coordination by Dignitas. Separate them out, give away 2 people in the Dragon Pit right here. We see a 2-kill lead and a 1,200 gold lead here for Curse. As the game slows down a little bit more. A couple of turrets are dead, Dragon's off the map. I might go back to the lanes for a little bit here. Actually, most of Dignitas hugging the left-hand side of the map there. Lucian still jungling more than anything else. Of course, that right-hand side lane in very dangerous territory. Dig can't really go there.
Yeah, Cruz trying to brute force down here, and they have the poke composition, plus a blue buff onto Nidalee. So this push is very difficult for Dignitas to defend. They either need to initiate right away or just get starved out and give up a turret. This would be the perfect time for a flash Tibbers, but KiWiKiD's level 4.
Yeah. I mean, by comparison, Imaqtpie is 7. He's actually the same level as Goldenglue. So it's kind of like Dig has 2 junglers and 2 solo laners, and then a roaming support. Like, that's kind of where all the... Whoa! And around Bunny, people, they're going to get ulted on by Crumbzz. The damage comes through. Nice cocoon, but Bunny will go down. Cruiser finds it. Whiffed. Shockwave finds nothing. Ezreal comes across, lands onto KiWiKiD. Going to be the escape here from Elise on the backside. Imaqtpie now on the wrong side of the map, trying to get away from Quas right here, but it's a 2-for-1 so far in Curse's favor. More damage comes through. Flash stun in on Imaqtpie. There's the javelin. There's the kill for Dominate. 3-1 again for Curse.
Yeah, it seems like Dignitas is finding the start of fights, but then Curse is just turning them around again and again. They committed so hard to get that first initiation that Curse was able to counter them even harder. They were already poked down a little bit low, and they didn't necessarily initiate in time. So Curse gets the kills and the turret.
And down it goes. There we go. 2,500 gold puts Curse ahead.
Yeah.
Look at that fight again.
Yeah, so they get a lot of damage done on the Bunny FuFuu, and KiWiKiD blows his stun just on the one target. Yes, they get the kill, but then they overcommitted for the kill. The shockwave was completely unnecessary. It hit no one, and the Curse counter collapse was even greater. Just to show you how out of position Dignitas was as a team, KiWiKiD ended up behind them and just got chased down by Curse, chaining the stuns together with the spear. Finish him off.
A whole bunch of damage comes through, and a red buff goes over to IWillDominate for his services in that fight, so... Might even see his ganks be even scarier as time goes on. We'll see. Cop and Bunny FuFuu getting some really good damage now on the bottom side, but looks like Cruiser does not quite land that Q, so never mind. No real fight.
Now Curse, good turret control, good kill control so far. Voyboy actually rushed magic penetration. You don't see that often. You usually see the Athene's Unholy Grail rush. But because they're controlling blue buff so well, I think he feels confident going for the magic pen and not necessarily going all the way for the Athenes right away, getting the cooldown reduction from the blue.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. It is going to be more damage than if you went completed the Athenes, so we'll see. If a javelin barely kills someone, you're going to know why, guys.
Cirque shoes.
Voyboy the Prophet, he knew the javelin would kill the man. Got the sorcerer's shoes.
Yasuo was fantastic in the first
Oh yeah, it was.
This is a good day for Voyboy.
Yeah.
Curse is under a lot of pressure here to finish the season not in 6th place.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Voyboy was a player who had been having a couple of issues, just like despite how storied he is as a player, how much he's played on the stage, he's had issues with nerves so far this season.
Yeah, he's had to leave the stage a few times before games. Still not completely over the issue, but just dealing with it. And for as nervous as he gets, he's definitely performing. Sometimes even more in the games where he gets nervous.
That's true. And the thing is, again, he's a converted mid laner as well. He's been playing that role for at most like 6 months now. And he's shining quite nicely. 1-0-3 so far on his Nidalee. He would have at least seen in the top lane before.
He actually used to play Nidalee as well in the top lane when he could. He has a lot of crossover champions like that, actually, which are actually better mid lane, but he'd like to play them top lane. One of the reasons he switched over. That's a big crocodile.
Yeah, Quas level 8. Crumbzz only 1 level down, but with an item deficit here, only Lizard Elder. PewDiePie gets out of that ring of explosion just in time. 4 kills and 3,000 gold. It's Curse in a happy place, and they're starting to take away the jungle. So Curse starting to close in around the map. Their pink wards are still defensive, but they're getting more and more green wards in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, and considering the lane swapping early on in this game, Quas is really fed. Being 303 with a Sunfire Cape is right where Renekton wants to be. Oftentimes people do lane swap the Renekton because if he doesn't take over the game and start winning it by 30 minutes, he will fall off in effectiveness. Quas is starting to do that. Voyboy better run. 1 more Q lands, that'll be a dead Voyboy.
Let's see if he can get away. Into the brush he goes.
Too fast.
Yeah, no wards available anymore for Cruiser. Flashes!
No.
Oh, that was so nearly amazing.
By a pixel. But flash down.
Yeah, that's the second slightly out of range Q I've actually seen from Cruiser as well. There was one at the bottom lane that he tried. He's just not quite landing all the damage he wants.
Very nearly amazing.
Yeah.
Right, here comes a big crocodile to shut him down, though.
Yeah, he's going to back away from that one. Says, you know what, Turret, you can live for now. But Dragon back on the map, so is the teleport for both top laners. And both these guys have stuns available to stop TPs. And here they go. They're both showing up for the teleport into this fight. Gonna see PewDiePie, KiWiKiD showing as well. There's Nidalee off on the side. Javelin won't quite land.
Yeah, Curse actually wants to poke at this dragon more than hard engage it. That's why they're peeled off that dragon so quickly. If they can land a few spears, they'll feel more comfortable at forcing that one in. They just have yet to find their mark here.
Yeah, and you know,
with the blue buff.
I actually misspoke as well. Cruiser TP'd, Quas recalled. He's walking down.
Yeah.
So Curse can
saving
happily...
that TP for later.
Exactly. Curse can just like buy the time, let him walk down, and play the map. Dignitas, they're not finding anything to quite do. You've got Cop from Curse pushing the mid lane down, rotating back towards the top. Javelin's completely zoning Dig away from the dragon, and now neither team goes, you know what? You're right. Let's do something else.
Dignitas using minions as shields right now, trying to get a bit of a shove off. But it's tough right here. With the strength of Quas, even if it was a straight 5-on-5 initiation against the poke team, Curse might come out on top because Quas is so strong, and because they pulled off, they can just get the dragon uncontested. Nice rotation.
Very nicely played by the Curse lineup there. 3,500 gold to put them ahead. Dignitas say, well, shoot, we didn't get anything for that at all except for a missed teleport cooldown. We gotta get back across the map, find something else. A flash engage, huge! In from KiWiKiD, they find one. Dominate now on the escape. Can he get out? Cullen comes by as well. Decent damage out there from PewDiePie. There you go, 1-0 off the dragon.
Yeah, Curse had kind of been lulled to sleep there thinking that Dignitas didn't want to rumble, but that's because they didn't want to get poked down. As soon as Dignitas had full health, they immediately went in. The more KiWiKiD can go in for those flashes now with Distortion boots of mobility, the more Dignitas can prevent themselves from getting poked. With the kill, they're trying to get this turret back.
It's a 5v3 with Dominate back in the base. Mid lane outer turret does go down, making that a cash positive situation for Dignitas here. Putting him back with an under 3k, and they're going to rotate back towards the top side of the map. Let's see what they can look for here. No buffs quite available. Top lane turret may be available. And it's where Cruiser's going.
Yeah, to give an update as well on those Spell Thief's edges, you were saying how Karma's going to get more. We'll do it after the fight. Beautiful flash ult by both Crumbzz and KiWiKiD right there. They got the Timber stun into the Assault and Battery, so there was almost no escape for Curse right there. And because of the recall, Curse actually might get the center turret.
Oh, Shockwave onto 3. Good damage comes through. The AoE shield from FuFuu keeps the team alive. Stun onto Quas. He's forced back. 200 health. Healed up by the Nidalee. The push comes through. Crumbzz takes a javelin to the face. They back off. Spiderling goes down. 5 gold to Goldenglue.
And no mana left on Goldenglue either. But yeah, the Spell Thieves Edge update we were just talking about, Karma has gotten close to 600 gold on the Spell Thieves, whereas KiWiKiD is about 350.
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with how much roaming has been happening, though. It wasn't your typical laning phase for getting that harassment off.
Yeah. Well, cash money coming through to Curse. Either way on this one, looks like Dominate, Voyboy, and Co. Gonna get rid of minions in the top lane here. That top lane outer turret did go down during our last replay. That was a push in by Cruiser, which makes it a 4 versus 5 right now on turrets. 4 to 7 on kills. Fairly close game. 2,000 gold, not a whole lot. PewDiePie, he's going for a more normal build here. Bloodthirster into the makings of a Trinity Force. Looks like Youmuu's not in his near future.
Not today with that recall. Yeah, PewDiePie's Yumo's days may be over. He likes to try and snowball games with it on Lucian, but if he doesn't have a substantial edge, he'll go away from it. He has out-farmed Cop in this one, but that's because he had so much isolated time in the lane really early on in the game. Nobody was stopping him.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been able to pick up the kills, so no go split.
I have to say, I'm impressed by Dignitas' ability to acquire farm, though. These teams traded turrets equally, but like down the line, there's a minion lead in almost every role by at least more than 10.
I think some of that has to do with Curse's early focus on Dragon. They really prioritize early Dragons, which often comes at the expense of CS, but this is a crazy push. Mid lane, bottom lane, Curse slightly in the lead.
Now it's going to be tier 2 turret in the bottom lane going down rather quickly. Dominate lead in the charge. Looks like Dig wants the same, but they've got a fear for their inhibitor. Quas comes in to play a little bit of push around, try to get him off that one. We'll see if they can make it happen. Looks like they are forced back away by Quas, and Hib's going down.
Quas is holding off 3 people right now while Curse pursues this. This could be death for Dignitas if they do not get them off here.
They get him down just barely, and now they get away from the inhibitor turret. Regens 180 health per minute. We'll see how long it takes Curse to get back to that location. It's
really
low.
Interesting game of cat and mouse here. Voyboy doesn't hop over the wall. There's a collapse coming in, potentially, if everyone can get into range. There's KiWiKiD dashing in.
Yeah, they have a ward in the brush, so Curse knows about this. Dig does as well. Cop taking a bunch of pain. Down goes Tibbers. The early Mikhails does not save him. The jump in. Crumbzz finds the kill. And the red buff also under control. Nice for Dignitas.
Wow. So, Viald over the wall with a bit of a sloppy disengage there by Curse. Voyboy needed to land that hop. Cop stayed around to kind of protect him. Ends up blowing both of his summoners and still falls there. Nice move overall by Curse, but they could have gotten away more clear.
Yeah, the follow-up stun definitely useful for KiWiKiD as well. Unfortunately, you can't Mikhail's a knockup, and so then Tibbers is able to easily stun afterwards. And unlike Summoner Cleanse, there's no tenacity granted afterwards, so unfortunate mishap there by Bunny FuFuu. Maybe they got used to playing with Thresh. He thought he could take a lantern and get out. Karma's not the same champion.
All those sweet ults by KiWiKiD because of the distortion boots. His flash is actually on a 203-second cooldown.
Yeah.
Right now. So normally 5-minute cooldown is just 3 minutes and 23 seconds.
3.5.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. Oh, Crumbzz level 10, 2, 2, and 2 his score. Looks like he's going for Aegis as his next item if I have my guess based on items in the inventory. I mean, it could be Aegis, could be Ninja Tabby and a Spectre's Cowl, who knows, but...
It could also be a Trinity Force.
It could be a Trinity Force.
Crumbzz oftentimes goes very aggressive. And Ninja Tabby are his favorite boots, actually. Crumbzz says, unless the other team has huge amounts of crowd control, like a Rammus or a Fiddlesticks, he will go Ninja Tabby every game. He thinks they're very overpowered boots.
They're definitely the most stat efficient in terms of like durability stats. Merctrez gives you very little actual combat resources.
And also Crumbzz, as far as a jungle style, he's obsessed with soloing 80 carries and just trying to get in the backline and finish him off. Ninja Tabby has to do with that as well.
Absolutely does. KiWiKiD finds a stun on the Quas. Some damage comes through. Crumbzz not going to find his engage just yet. Goldenglue puts the ball on top of his own board just to make sure. Good harass again on the Quas. Dragons in 10 seconds. Dignitas waiting plenty of time for this one.
They're here a little early because the longer they stand here, the more danger they are to that poke. The more Nidalee Spirits they land, the lower Dignitas gets. They have to force onto this immediately and then peel off. This time they do not have the flash Tibbers, however. They're trying to get this dragon down as quickly as possible.
We'll see how fast they can force it. They've dodged the poke for a little while. Dominate around the bend. Can he get the smite? He does pick up Dragon. Dodges Shockwave as well. Ezreal comes in. Not good for KiWiKiD. Not good for QtPie. Can they stay alive? But to the front lines they go. Voyboy low on health. Stays alive. Cruiser can't find him. It's going to be kill after kill. Oh, a 2-man hit there.
Triple kill.
Good for Goldenglue. Can he find more? He finds 3. He looks for Cop. Tibbers is there. Goldenglue QW Quadra. Only Bunny FuFuu alive.
After missing the Shockwave at the start of the fight, Goldenglue still picks up a quadra kill. The steal did go to Curse, but this is the fight that really turns it. Try to figure out why Dignitas actually got this quadra kill. Curse is not strong in straight up fights if they don't land poke to begin with. Despite the overwhelming power of Quas, no one else can really dive in with him. So Voyboy got a little close, he gets locked down. Then everybody is low, and Goldenglue just puts the ball in there and detonates it for a bunch of kills. Then, once he gets the ball back on top of him, he can finish off Pop pretty close to a penta because Bunny FuFuu was low.
But in the LCS, you don't give away pentas. You steal them plenty of the time, as we saw earlier. But you don't earn a penta if they give you the kill in the 5th one. So it's all right. It's going to be a good bit of breathing room now for Dignitas. Despite losing the dragon here, they are in a small gold lead here. But
that just
back
brings
into
this
this
game
one
right back to being incredibly close. The dragon control continues for Curse. But you can really see the teamfight prowess now of Dignitas. With the no magic mantle, you can see maybe Crumbzz is going for that Aegis. Yeah. He doesn't. I haven't seen him build it that much on Vi.
It's been a lot less common overall.
But it would help them against the Nidalee spear poke.
Yeah.
Right? You can dodge spears yourself, but to really protect your team, getting that 20 magic resist aura will heavily reduce the poke damage flying in.
Even the little bit of health regen it gives does matter over time eventually. It's going to be enough to make you survive at some point.
Especially with the no sustained team that Dignitas is running right now.
So we'll see how that all pans out. Looks like Quas happy to get rid of some of the minions here. 134 CS to Cruzer's Lucian, only 106 on Quas's Renekton. These top laners getting very, very little farm, and Even Cop is only 137. Like, Curse aren't getting minions this game.
Yeah, they are incredibly starved on farm. One of the dangers here of all their dragon control, really, I think Cop's the most important one. An initiation comes in from Dig. No poke is down yet. There's the flash.
Quas that have the engage comes in as well. Repel in for IWillDominate. Gonna run towards the back. He might just stay alive, but here comes the chase. There goes Crumbzz. He's gonna find the damage. Cruiser on a rampage, finding kills left, right, and center.
Didn't even have to burn Shockwave. Goldenglue didn't find the opportunity to make it, so Dignitas with a power play right now. See what they want to take.
Right now it's gonna be the Wraith camp. They're gonna move over to the top lane as well.
Gotta get more aggressive with that. They have Shockwave up.
They do. They say that the entire time. Crumbzz so low on health, though. Gonna make it a bit hard for him to go for a Baron right here. Honestly, Dig takes the kill and runs.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go back. They did not want to get into a smite dance with IWillDominate. Curse, as a team, has tremendous buff securing. They're very good at bursting it down at the right moment as a team. Dominate, very good understanding of that war. Push down the mid lane while everyone recalls. So at the end of the day, just a catch and the game remains incredibly close.
So we're going to see Curse put some defensive wards. Actually, it's weird. Like, I feel like wards that are like deep in the enemy lane are like defensive wards because you watch rotations, you see where people are moving. So Curse going to watch some of the defensive rotations here from Dignitas. KiWiKiD in the wrong part of town.
We found friends. Nice little escape there.
Safe. All right, Javelin does not land. He's going to be okay. Goes and rejoins his team. They rotated up through the river to help him out here. We're going to see what Dignitas sets up for right now, because Curse have to realize, like, their last few attempts have backfired. They've gone negative in multiple fights now. And Dignitas, they're the ones now sitting up Baron.
Curse hasn't been able to land poke while still getting it alive. I mean, the Vi from Crumbzz, it's the guaranteed initiation. Vi does one thing, she gets to a target. And then because they have Annie's Tibbers to reinitiate, you know, they really stick on the target. So a very nice counter play by Dignitas to the poke composition of Curse. It's allowing Dignitas to catch them before the poke lands. As long as they continue to execute those initiations, it's going to be very difficult for Curse to come back.
Well, if they find it, it's going to be Voyboy landing a bunch of javelins. He's got himself a blue buff and a death cap. This is a recent addition here to the Armory of Curse game. Team Curse, rather, official name.
We're 26 minutes in. Cop still doesn't even have his Trinity Force on Ezreal.
Yeah. Usually your second item comes in around that time already. You're seeing Triforce done for KiWiKiD. 0-1 and 9, by the way. Support-like score here for KiWiKiD, just setting up his team for the kills. Cruiser 4-0 and 3 on his top lane, Lucian, his first of the season. See FuFuu forced to run away. KiWiKiD still looking for a way in, but right now Dig just happy to control the jungle for now.
Yeah, they're just posturing because Cruiser is trying to set up the split push right here. He's shoving around that bottom lane with his Hydra and his Sightstone. Going to set up this 4-1 split push with the potential to teleport in on Lee Sin. They're actually, you know, if Curse can take Renekton out of the equation, they will then be initiating on tankless Curse, which makes it even easier for them to pile down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dignitas absolutely wants to isolate this into a 4-1 game.
And they're playing it so slowly, too. You saw Cruiser, right? He pushed towards the bottom side, and then he stopped, took the white camp, then went back. If I think back to, like, 2013 Spring Split Dignitas, the way they were winning was incredibly slow and controlled, right? Get the farm in all the lanes, own the entire enemy jungle, and just have more gold. And right now, without any kills coming through, they just grown their lead by 2,000 just from farm.
Yeah, they've just been out farming them the whole game as well. Another thing that's going to happen if Dignitas holds this map positioning is all those deep wards that Curse was able to place in Dignitas' blue buff area will die, just duration-wise. And then the Baron forces will become an even more real possibility. Dignitas exerting their control gets their first dragon of the game.
But they're going to recall back, which gives some time for Curse to play around the map once again. FuFuu going to sweep away some wards and kind of refresh those timing out ward durations right here. KiWiKiD left on his own devices on the other side of the map. Going to push this lane up for a little bit. 600 damage crits right now with Trinity Forces there. So that's going to be a good amount of burst if he can land those. And you're seeing that Curse, they've set up the Baron themselves. They own this spot. KiWiKiD will force a rotation.
This is a rather weird move here, having KiWiKiD being the split pusher, but he does kill turrets faster, and Curse is not strong enough to take on the other four with the Baron Force. So it's working for Dignitas, getting a lot of damage on that turret.
And getting incredibly low, and honestly, to keep up with this one, the bottom lane inhib turret that Curse hit a while ago, back almost to entirely full health right here. So
the level advantage too. KiWiKiD is level 15. Quas was level 12.
Yeah.
That's just how much rotation and lane time Dignitas has had, and how caught Curse has been between two different spots, and just not being able to get experience as a team.
Well, Curse going to look for this one a little bit.
Really want the catch.
For Bunny FuFuu going to land a ward. Cruiser does not go for that one, rightly so.
This is so interesting how Dignitas would rather have Lee Sin in their team fighting team instead of Imaqtpie's Lucian. They just want the dive, the initiation. Lee Sin is better at getting to targets and sticking to them. They're not worried about conventional team fights with a backline. They're just all about diving and killing, so therefore they don't need the AD carry.
Well, heck, on the other side of it as well, I mean, you're right that they're about diving and killing, but heck, even if Curse did engage, at least they could kick someone back. Like, there's actually a lot of uses to the Lee Sin, just depending on how the fight actually goes, if Curse somehow forces it anyway. We'll see what ends up happening. Looks like Lucian from Imaqtpie does come back to join the team. Now that he has a last Whisper, you've got the makings of a Randuin's Omen coming soon from Cruiser as well. He's happy and durable. Not much MR in his build, but I guess just rely on Aegis. The Engage going to look for it here. IWillDominate comes on in. There's a teleport as well. The Engage, though, to Bunny FuFuu, half HP. Cruiser forces a jump back. There comes Timbers. There comes Shockwave, only onto one. Quas taking some damage. Crumbzz still on the front line. Quas trying to get away. The kick away on a Voyboy. He's going to be safe. Jumps in. The duel. Is it enough damage? The Javelin point blank range lands. 1-0 here. Curse coming out a little bit ahead, but Dig, they are not done. One hit till Bunny FuFuu dies. The distortion, no, the damage, they can't quite find it. Into the brush, Bunny FuFuu goes. The slows come in. He survives hopping through the forest.
And Curse isn't necessarily done. They're scattered everywhere trying to outrun this Dignitas team. Landing spears, very dangerous against that Nidalee.
He's going to back on off there. Pink ward control still Curses right here, so heck, that went well. As forced as it was, they used a teleport on Quas to get down there.
Wow, so Curse gets out of that one with some slipperiness, if I can say it again. It was a forced fight by Dignitas, but look how far back Lucian and Orianna were on the minimap before this fight started, and still not a great shockwave. There haven't been big shockwaves from Goldenglue this game because Curse plays fairly spread out. Because of the clutch play by Voyboy down at the end, priorities were just mixed up. Dignitas was not one cohesive diving unit, and I think that's the big reason they were able to get caught out here.
And the W just barely missed. The Q barely missed. So many almost amazing things from Dig this game.
Yeah.
So many of them nearly landing.
But they're still winning.
They are still winning. They're looking good. 2,400 gold so far. Playing a very slow and methodical game. Voyboy back with the blue buff. Takes his time to jump that wall. Didn't miss this one. He's fine. 1 kill deficit here for Curse.
Spears really starting to hurt, and aside from the Lock of the Island Solari, there's almost no magic resist built up on Dignitas. Obviously, the hard initiations still need to happen, and if Crumbzz gets a good one, they've proven they can win fights handily, but it's still a rather contentious game.
See what these guys can do with it. Right now, they've set Cruiser to push the bottom side. Still playing the minion farm game. Voyboy actually itemizing interestingly. I agree with the build because you've been talking about the engages.
But where's his void stat?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you talk about low MR builds overall,
yeah,
everyone's going to sit somewhere around 60 to 80 magic resist for the most part on Dignitas, which is actually pretty much in void staff territory at that point, where it's like a really good pickup.
So we're just going Zhonya's.
But he's going Zhonya's because of the Vi engage, basically. Because you can Zhonya's away the ulti, not take the damage, not take the knockup.
You say Zhonya's, I say Zhonya's.
Yes.
Which is it?
I don't know. Ask Ginsu.
All right.
His brother is Zhonya, or Zanya, named it after him.
We'll let you know later.
There you go. Did you know? That's why the item was named that way.
Sweet. 2,000 gold lead here by Dignitas. They're trying to get ward control over here. This game might just come down to either a Slick Baron forced by Dignitas or a Smite War between IWillDominate and Crumbzz. That Baron's falling real fast, but Dominate is in steal range.
He does have Repel, does not have Flash. Timbers comes down, locks him out. Blue team picks up Baron Nashor. Dominate late to the party, but KiWiKiD maybe late to dying. It's going to be taking as much damage as he can. Stays alive. Quas does go down, but it's a trade. It's going to be the shockwave to Bunny FuFuu. 4 versus 3 on the fight so far. Engage still looking for it. KiWiKiD does not land the culling whatsoever. Bunny FuFuu still on the run, does go down. Cruiser helps ensure that one. Only Cop and Voyboy alive.
Yeah, Baron and 3 kills. The brute force on the Baron. The stun to stop Dominate from coming in was so critical from KiWiKiD. And now they can push on really strongly.
Well, big damage onto the inhibitor turret. The shield's coming through from Goldenglue, helping him stay alive for a while. That's Cruiser taking all the damage and taking very little, to be fair. Inhib going to be going down as well. Mid inhib is gone. 7,000 gold lead and a Baron buff here for Dignitas.
Yeah, they're really taking this very strongly right here. Honestly, KiWiKiD, just with a glimpse of where IWillDominate is, gets him with the Tibbers as the Baron gets spiked down by Dignitas. Then, of course, Ripple comes in after. And this is the situation Curse does not want to be in. They're all poked. They're forced to fight in a confined space, and that's where Dignitas thrives. Still just catching one with the Shockwave, but that's all Dignitas needs as they chase down, finish off Bunny FuFuu, and then eventually go for the inhibitor.
Command dissonance right there. Getting the last hit. Gotta say 6-2 and 4 for Goldenglue.
Yeah, impressive
to
score.
replace Scarra.
Gets a quadra kill in this game as well.
Daydreamin had a quadra kill in his first game in the LCS, I think, on support Elise.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, New Blood almost always does something really good in their first game.
Well, this is his third game.
Okay, sure, but like very early on, it's like, yeah, that's why they picked him up.
Yeah. Well, Goldenglue, you know, of mid laners, it was hard to pick one in North America. Dignitas went to Goldenglue, and if they win this one, 2-1 since picking him up, will prove powerful for them. Also, it would be their first win against Curse.
Yeah.
Guarantee them a spot in the playoffs. All very positive things here for Dignitas.
Yeah, and you got to figure if the league ended, if the regular season ended right now, this would be their first round playoff matchup. The fact that Dig has found a way to actually beat Curse here, it's going to give them a lot of confidence coming into the playoffs.
Still very interested by this Curse choice for team composition all the way back from the start of the game because they had so much success against Coast with a very hard initiate composition and then they went straight poke. They're just trying two completely different ends of the spectrum. It's very difficult to adapt game to game your playstyle, and they haven't been able to set up great poke opportunities, and they have not been able to disengage very successfully in the majority of these fights. But now with a Baroned up Dignitas team, look for Crumbzz to go pretty hard.
Well, he's not going to go for it just yet. Of course, they're going to wait for, looks like Super Minions to flood in through the mid lane. Dignitas happy to stay up here. Cruiser does have teleport, but does not split away from the team to look for the bottom lane. It's going to be the concerted 5-man push right here. About 20 seconds until Super Minions run into the base of Curse itself. They go in now. Crumbzz looking for the engage. Will he find much? Nope. Backs away again, but zones Curse back, allowing them to get some very serious damage. Quas goes in for the fight. A stun on a 2, down it up into the air. He's going to be Quas now, running away, slowed down as well. The ult comes in on Bunny FuFuu. Where's the shotgun going to come in? Quas does go down, 1-for-0. Inhib falls as well. Or inhibitor turret, I should say. Dignitas still pushing.
The very end of the culling finishes off Quas. They get the inhibitor. They have the inhibitor in the mid lane. They might try and end this game.
And there's a bunch of minions in for the Nexus turrets as well, down to very low health. The first one falls, the second one under fire as well. Dignitas to hold on to their 4th seed, putting in the damage. Dominant kick towards the background, going up into the air. Shockwave comes through. More kills coming in. This is going to be the GG. Dignitas finally win a game against Curse this year. They're looking good.
Crumbzz is pumped about that one because there was a time where that was a really contentious game. They got a big team fight win. Goldenglue got that quadra kill, and then they never let their momentum falter. Even though Curse had already won one game today, they could not take out Dignitas. They take out Curse.
Gotta say, KiWiKiD, a big force for that one.
Yeah.
I was just a very big fan of his play. Secured first blood for the team, taking down IWillDominate early on with a level 2 flash anti-stun. The Tibbers drop the stun to stop the smite steal as well. All these great plays for the man of the stream right there.
Comboing up so many of their initiations with 5. KiWiKiD and Crumbzz were in perfect synchrony this game. Even though early on in the game, it was looking pretty rough for KiWiKiD. He was level 3, 7 minutes into the game. He died a few times, and then as soon as he got those flash Tibbers, he rushed the distortion boots as quickly as possible.
Yep.
His flashes were pretty important.
He even bought the cheapest tier 2 boots in the game, boots of mobility, just to get it sooner. Just to make sure he could go on. I mean, you go boots of mobility anyway.
Boots of mobility are pretty good on that.
I mean, yeah.
It's all about getting in range for that flash Tibbers.
Yeah. Incoming movement speed, less useful here. I want to point out 2 other big members, though. So Goldenglue, you talked about the quadra kill. 8, 2, and 5, his overall score, of course, a great pickup there. I also want to talk about the top lane Lee Sin, though. You had a 4, 1, and 9 from Cruiser. And I love top lane Lee Sin's. It worked out for him, managed to outfarm, get the pressure on. Went well in team fights, too.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought, too. I really like the fact that Cruiser went back to Lee Sin.
Yeah, me too.
I am of the belief that oftentimes, like, players have their own strengths and weaknesses, and if you go against them too heavily, you're going to falter. Cruiser has not been having a good year, especially against Quas when he's playing his Renekton or Shyvana or the standard that everyone else is playing. But Cruzer's game, his burst into the League of Legends scene, was on Lee Sin. It is always going to be a strength of his that he should go and tap more frequently. Likewise, if I look at the Curse composition, I know IWillDominate and Voyboy as players. They love to go in. They love to initiate the snap of a finger. And I just do not think Curse should be playing poke compositions. It's a nice thought to say, yeah, we can do it all. We can play initiation compositions or poke compositions. We're just the most versatile team. I think they should play to their strengths a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's really hard for a team to kind of have all of those available because League is already such a complex game. But, oh, you know, when do we trade turrets? When do we push? When do we drag in? How do we farm? Like, all these crazy things. And then you've got to change those every time based on, well, how do these different comps line up? If we're a disengaged comp, we can't fight the same dragons we would have before. You've got to learn all these new rules over and over again. And with Curse putting in a largely new lineup this year, FuFuu's new, Voyboy's new to the lane, Dominate's new to the team, Quas new to the team, right? Only Quas kept his role the same. They've got to learn all of that at the same time. Yeah. It's a lot to put in for the team.
And just to finish off the conversation on strengths, the Thresh was banned.
Yep.
Right? FuFuu was denied the Thresh. His Karma didn't necessarily have a huge impact. So great ban there and nice team composition choice by Dignitas.
Yeah, worked out well for these guys. They go 3-1 against Curse on the season so far. Now, guys, don't forget to share your highlights from the day by tweeting at @LOLesports and using the hashtag LCSBigPlays. Now for more on Dignitas' first win over Curse this year, let's send it across the studio to Riv and Kobe.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are happy to be joined by the man with the Goldenglue himself, bringing Dignitas together, the mid laner Goldenglue for Dig. Congratulations on the win, playing Ori this time. Definitely switching it up, not going back to the champions you've been playing, and not afraid to make plays. How did the Quadra feel?
That felt really good because I got an awful ult. I don't think, maybe I hit one person, but I ended up just like letting my team get everyone low, and I just chased them down, and it worked out pretty well.
All right, we'll bring up the replay right now so we can get this in here. Talk us through, you know, what you were feeling and what you were trying to do with those ultimates.
Okay. So first, we're just trying to burst down Dragon. I think I put my ball at the entrance of the pit to try to stop them. So my thought, like, he was stunned. I wanted to ult him so he couldn't get the steal, but he still got it. So I just back up with KiWiKiD, and we try to defend. And then they, like, everyone just so low. So we follow up. Let's see what happens here. Oh, yeah, and they're all low, like, clumped right there. So I flash, and I go in to save Cruiser, and then I just keep chasing. It's not really, I, like, really didn't do anything that fight. That was all my team.
I think they just wanted to show your zero-man shockwave again.
Yeah.
That was mean, guys.
Yeah, that was rude.
But how does it feel now, coming in, filling Scar's shoes? You know, what were your expectations in this role?
I expected I'd have to make a larger impact than I am in these games. Like, I feel like I'm just doing the bare minimum, but my team's just, like, picking up the slack, so it's working out.
How about this 2-versus-1 situation where people are swapping side lanes as a mid laner? You know, have you come up against that before, and what is really the most important thing for you to do when the lanes are getting swapped like that?
When they 2v1, it leaves mid open like alone because the jungles are also pushing the towers. So it's really just a 1v1, and Nidalee is not very strong early on, and Orianna is like really strong early on. So I got like a 10 CS lead, and I was able to bully him a little bit. So it's really good if you get a strong laner and you're 2v1ing because you get to really push your advantage.
All right, we're going to jump right into the next replay, a 32-45 Baron that you guys started off here, but it looked really sketchy to begin. Talk us through what was happening and what KiWiKiD was thinking, because he came up big here.
Well, first, like, I was saying I wanted to clear the pink before we started Baron, so that's what we did, but I think we should have just rushed it. Luckily, we have a good anti-ult that stops any chances of getting a steal, and then we peel back on Quas, and I'm just staying with Cruiser and Kiwi to try to kill Dominate. And basically, we're just cleaning up. There's not much that we had to do. And here, I get a one-man ult. Like, my shockwaves are awful, but...
Hey, they're going up in numbers.
Yeah.
So, with the communication mostly being on Crumbzz, what do you do for the voice of the team? You kind of, you know, initiate and secure the fact that people are calling things and say, yeah, go, go, or are you actually making calls?
I'm usually securing, but also, like, if I have ult up, I'm saying I look for an ult, and then my team just follows up if I find one.
Right on.
Yeah.
How much different is the LCS games when you get towards the end game from like Challenger Series games?
It's a lot more energy, like, because you hear the crowd and you know it means a lot to win. So it's a lot more pressure, and I feel like there's less errors because when you're online, like, it's not really a big deal. You lost a game. You don't have a crowd like out there or fans. So. Yeah.
So as a mid laner coming into a team, it's a little different than a support. You know, you always have to play your own solo in the mid lane. But what's your melding with Crumbzz and the rest of the team in your rotations? How is that going?
It's going really well. Crumbzz is really aggressive, and that's how I like to play. And when he always seems to have an advantage, so when we're together, we're usually able to push that advantage. So I like it. It's going well.
Right on. There's a good chance you guys face Curse in the playoffs. You guys kind of have that already set in mind, and how's that going to go, you think?
Yeah, we were looking at all the possibilities, and it's most likely Curse, but it could be Coast. That's the other option. But we're pretty confident that if we play well, we can win.
So you, with being such a new addition to the team, have you gotten settled into the house? Are you even at the house? How's the home life going and the practicing?
It's going pretty good. I just I flew in yesterday. I'm missing school today because this is more important. And yeah, I have my own bed and my own computer, and everything's pretty good.
Got all the Allen wrenches saved away that you used. Yeah. So with Scar's help, we kind of talked to him a little bit as he stepped down. How is it in the house? How has that help been increasing, and what is he offering to you?
For example, yesterday, I was solo queuing at the house, and he was just standing behind me, either affirming or telling me I'm awful if that's something I did, and I would agree with him. So it really just helps me understand what I'm doing, if it's right or wrong.
Right on.
Always nice to have an extra mid laner. Do you ever go into duel situations with him to practice specific matchups?
We always say we will, but we always end up not doing it. All right, when you get home, we'll 1v1, but it doesn't really happen.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
So the quarterfinals are tonight for the Challenger Series. Are you still keeping in touch with the old team?
I talked to some of them. I talk to Imaqtpie every now and then, the AD carry. But other than that, not really. I don't know who they're picking up for their new mid laner. I know they're trying out some people, but I'm not keeping up to it that much. I've got enough on my plate.
And actually, how much have you noticed? You know, Kobe mentioned, Challenger to now. What's the scrim regimen like? Has that changed quite a bit?
Oh, yeah. It's a lot more intense. And it's pretty much everyone's more on time, too. On the old time, or on my old team, sometimes it'd be 20. You would expect, if it's at 4 o'clock, it's at 4:20 or something.
Somebody's in the bathroom, somebody's driving home. They're not ready yet.
The perfect example there.
Yeah.
So you have been focusing a lot on your play as a mid laner and individual mistakes, how to play out matchups. Have you actually gotten into the strategy of picks and ban phase at all with the team yet? Do you have a lot of input in that phase with the rest of the team, trying to get team comps together?
Yeah, they always how it works is they ask me if I'm comfortable picking this into that, or if I'm comfortable blind picking that. So I was pretty comfortable blind picking Orianna. She's pretty safe. I was thinking of some other wacky stuff, but I couldn't first pick it. I have to counter pick that.
Well, I can't wait to see the rest of those games. Congratulations on the win and the rest of the games for Dignitas coming into Super Week. All right, everyone, we have to take a 3.5-minute broadcaster cool down, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, Evil Geniuses will try to keep their playoff dreams alive when they take on Team Solo Mid in our final LCS game of the day. Stay tuned.
We can still do this. We don't take damage from it. I'm just gonna ult. I'm just gonna ult down.
Careful.
Ulting down. Just finish.
Got it, nice. I got Renekton. Renekton, peel back.
Elise in the pit.
Nice. Renekton.
No.
He's out. Okay, here we go.
I'm looking.
I still got a lock-in for you.
Karma.
What do you have on Karma?
I have slow.
Nice.
Yeah.